Okay, this next video, we're going to go down to the next example, 2-22, and do maybe a shorter video on the harmonization, but getting a little bit more practice on it. Okay, so let's go ahead and pin down. So I'll show you what it looks like. This is the one that's in 6/8. And if you take a look at the key signature and the first tonic that they have, we are in good old G major. Okay, so first things first, let's take a look at the left hand. Our tonic is G, our dominant is D. Okay, now let's take a look at why that is really quickly. If you look at one, the reason is we do have a C thrown in there, but our main notes are B and D, and that is something that if we just played those two with the left hand, then we have a G major chord. Okay, so that's why it's tonic, and I'm going to turn so you guys can see my hands. Next measure, prominent notes are A and C. We do have a B, but it's just sometimes in the melody we just use it as a passing tone, so we don't have all these weird skips. Okay, or that's just counterpoint. All right, so next measure, let's take a look. What are our main notes? Kind of looks the same as it did in the last measure, just repeats itself on the way down. So we can go ahead and put a dominant rather in our bass. Okay. All right. So the next measure, actually, someone wrote this in there, and I'm going to erase it. This is going to have B and D as our main notes. So it's going to make most sense to have a G in the bass to make this a 1 chord for sure. Okay? So I'll erase whatever wrote that and go ahead and see if you guys can do that at the same time. I'm going to rewrite that back in. Okay? So now, next couple measures I agree with. This is the same as the first measure, so same chord, tonic. Same with the next measure, we're going to go back to dominant. Then we take a look at these last two measures. Our last measure definitely has to be tonic. So it's going to make the most sense to put dominant in front of it. Okay? So we got D, C, and A. That pretty much makes up our 5/7 chord. Okay? Alright. Good. Okay. So now let's do sight reading through the right hand. We're in 6/8, so we'll go about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Alright, our first note is B. Make sure your third finger is on it. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was a little bit overwhelming, feel free to pause this and try that again. Okay, so now we're not going to do it this fast when we put them hands together, but we're going to hyperspeed the left hand up for right now just because it's very easy. Okay, so 5 on G, 1 on D. Okay, that's the only two notes that we should be using. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There, okay, alright, so now we're going to take it at a much slower tempo as we put it hands together, okay? Alright, let's go ahead from the beginning. I'm a little stuck in that fast tempo just because this isn't too difficult, so for me at least. So I'm gonna have to 2, 3, 1, probably about that fast, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. it stuck even more in the second time that we did a harmonization, okay? All right, so there's 2 on the next page that we're not going to go through, but I would strongly urge you to go ahead and try your hand at them, okay? Even if it's just really kind of meh sight reading. The more practice you can get with this, the better. Because as you keep going on in these piano classes, you'll do more and more of these. They'll get more difficult, and you need to do them in order to pass all your piano classes. So I would encourage you to do some sight reading with that too, okay? All right, so next video we'll go to sight reading of just normal stuff.